Hello everybody, hope you're doing alright. Another walkabout video. It's alright today, a little bit of cloud cover overhead, so it means the sun isn't shining right down on there and blanking everything out. It's ideal conditions. I have a question for you. How many countries do you think there are in the world? How many? I had to Google it because I had no idea. If you wait till the end of the video, I'll tell you the answer. Well, each of these countries has their own people, their own way of doing things, their own laws and their own cultures. And whenever I visited another country in my time, I'm not that well travelled, I can assure you, I've done my best to observe the cultures and the laws and the traditions of that country. It's called paying respect at the end of the day. You go to France, you go to Spain, Gran Canaria, where I went to recently. Lovely people, by the way. They all have their own way of doing things. One of the world leaders said very recently, in the last few years actually, if you're going to come to this country, then we have our own laws, we have our own ways of doing things, and we have our own culture. You will respect these things, and if you can't respect them, you're not welcome here. Go away. Can't argue with that, really. This country of mine, England. Yes, England. A lot of people identify themselves as British. I'm afraid I don't, because in my view, the idea of being British or being from Great Britain is a bit of a fallacy. There's a lump of rock in the middle of the ocean, North Sea, or whatever you call it, that is referred to as the United Kingdom stroke Great Britain, which is made up of Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland. In short, it's a political union which over the last 300 years or so, to be honest, has caused us more trouble than it's worth. Go look at the Acts of Union from the early 1700s. You'll see where all that comes from. And up until a certain point, we really were just what we were: Scottish, English, Welsh, you know, everything else. And as time goes by, we reached a point where individuals, for whatever reason, come into this country. For example, World War II, there were an awful lot of Polish, awful lot of Indian and other nationalities that fought very hard for this country, some of them paying the ultimate sacrifice. Least we can do is give them a home. They're here, they start families, work very hard and become part of us. Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong at all. And you get generations of shop owners and business people and, well, pilots, all sorts of professions that started off a generation ago and worked very hard and pay their way. There's nothing wrong with that. And over the recent time, probably 20 years, 30 years, we've had a massive problem where we have a situation that's out of control. It's not getting out of control, it's out of control. And in various quarters, we've got people coming in an uncontrolled state. There's no two ways about it. And when you try and identify why you try and identify what's gone wrong, you're referred to as a racist. Look up the definition of the word racist in a dictionary. Whenever you try and challenge somebody on these matters, which are important, let's face it, whenever you try and get to the bottom of it, you're referred to as a racist and vilified, particularly when you talk about the Channel and Dover. Politicians, now they're a particular breed. they're very, very adept at using terms like racism and phobic and ist, anything referring to that, as a way of justifying their position and cancelling your conversation. Two examples I can think of very much: Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. I saw a Twitter video yesterday, in fact, where there's this argument over a donation that was given to the Conservatives. The fact she give it back. Said you shouldn't be funding a party of racists. I have to be careful how many times I say that word. YouTube will have something to say to me. Well, who's the other person? 46 times she tried to stand up in the House of Commons and was ignored. 46 times. That, of course, is Diane Abbott. It was a debate that was about her at the end of the day, and she was ignored by the Speaker of the House every time she tried to stand up and make comment. There was actually a video that recorded every single time. Straight away, the go-to afterwards, it's one of those words beginning with ism or ist. It's not the first time either. Now, Diane Abbott, not my favourite, not my cup of tea, really. It's a woman that is very, very adept at not getting her facts right, not getting her figures right, and not going anywhere. Now, when you have people that play this card, when effectively they don't get their own way, like some kind of spoilt child, they're in a position of authority. The aforementioned Khan being one, it's a measure of how divisive it is, how divided we all are, and how wrong it's all got. When are they going to stand up, take responsibility for the fact that they might be useless at their job, and other people need to step in and clear up their mess? There's no ist, there's no ism or anything of that nature. Pure simple fact. And when we start realising that the colour of our skin and, by God, the beliefs and belief system of where we come from, once we see past that, these problems disappear. We've become a multicultural society, whether we believe it or not. It's an unfortunate truth. And we've got two ways of looking at it. Do we kick and scream, punch and fight? I want my country back. I sit on that side of the fence, to be honest with you. Or do we think, right, well, how do we get on with one another? It's got to start somewhere, hasn't it? Maybe at the beginning. And do you know how many countries there are in the world? 195. Google it yourself. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Sandy the Cabby. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.